Hi, welcome to Marlene at Home. Nice to have you with us. Today, I'd like to talk to you about the Amish friendship that my family has enjoyed for over 60 years. I was a young girl when my dad came home from deer hunting one year and said, "I have met the nicest Amish family." They had a sign out front for selling baked goods, and I stopped and bought some. And I can't wait till I can take you all up, and in the spring, you can meet them when we can get back into the mountains again to our cabin. And so we were anxious to get back and to meet this family. I think they had 9 children. And so anyway, my dad talked it up all through the winter. I remember when we were going back into the mountains, my mom pulled out her 35mm camera and said, "Look at that young boy." He was about my sister and I's age. "Look at him plowing the fields with his horse." And she took a picture or two. Well, as soon as the young boy, and we were at distance, as soon as he realized what was happening, he stopped plowing, he got off, he had his horse lay down, and he kind of laid, not under him, but kind of halfway under him and beside him. And we've got pictures of our Amish friend laying on the ground beside his horse. And that time, my mom did not know that this was going to be the family, because this was a good bit away from the house, and that this was going to be the family that would become lifelong friends of ours. But anyway, we just had a wonderful time over the years with the Byler family. I did not know at the time about the different Amish different sects of the Amish, different divisions. And anyway, these childhood Amish friends are of the Nebraska order, and very old order, very stringent, dear people that I love dearly. They're like family to us. Anyway, some of the things that we enjoyed on their 100-acre farm that was not far from our cabin was not only friendship, but also often centered around food. Some of our favorite things are Mom Byler's homemade potato buns, or the sticky buns. I've never had sticky buns that have had so much sticky, moist topping syrup on it. But I do remember the time my sister went in and said, "Wow, you have ones with raisins." And that quick, they went like this and all the flies flew up. My mom and dad were like so embarrassed. But anyway, things like homemade cider. One summer, homemade ice cream. There must have been 30 of us packed in, and we all enjoyed homemade ice cream. I was very young. And I remember they kept saying, here, you've got to put Cheerios on your cereal, on your ice cream. And we're like, "No, we just do Cheerios for cereal." But we all that night had Cheerios, and we've laughed about it ever since on our ice cream. There was the time Joe, the young boy that was doing the plowing, he offered to take us girls, my sister and I, for a buggy ride, and with his sisters with us. And he just thought it would be so much fun to drive wild and crazy. And that buggy was ricocheting like this and that. And I thought for sure we were going to crash. We were screaming, and his sisters were screaming, "Joe, stop showing off, stop showing off." Now we all laugh about it, but that day, my sister and I, we weren't laughing. We were very scared. We just enjoyed relationships with all of them. Let's see if I can name them quickly. Christy, Sarah, Katie, Leah, Franny, Joe, Emma. Oh, Emma. She was beautiful. Just the complexion. Just when I look at Amish paintings sometimes, I see Emma's face. But one year my dad came home, several years after we had met them, came home from deer season and said, "Emma took sick suddenly and passed away. She was 12. And we were heartbroken. They found out it was leukemia. We went up in the spring as soon as the roads were open so that we could go and see the gravestone that Pop Byler had chiseled out for Emma. My sister's planning to visit in a few months, and that's one of the places we want to go. So we want to see where Emma was buried, and we always talk about it, but it's a hike through some fields, and we've never done it, and this year we really hope to do that. I think of times like when 3 or 4 of the girls came out and painted our family cabin for my dad, and we just had so much fun. It was like a week of partying with them, and fond memories from that. We were the first Englishers that the Bylers ever had into their home, and vice versa. They were the first Amish my parents ever had in their home. Mom and Pop Byler would come and stay for a week, several days. One of Pop Byler's dreams before he died was that he could see the ocean. He had read about the ocean, heard about the ocean, but he had never seen it. So my parents took him to Ocean City, New Jersey. It was in the winter. But anyway, he rolled up his pant legs, took off his shoes, and he stood in that cold water, and he just said, "It never stops. Those waves never stop." He would hold his beard and look and think, and he just couldn't get over it. And my parents like, yes, it just keeps, and he was just mesmerized by it. That's one of our fun memories. There are some difficult memories too. Joe and his wife Betsy had a young little girl that fell up against a wood stove and had a very bad burn. She was like a toddler, maybe a little older than a toddler. And she was rushed to a burn center, eventually transferred to a burn center near my parents' house. And for months, Betsy stayed and lived with my parents, and my parents would take her back and forth to the burn center to be with this dear little girl. There were many visits from our house to their house to our house. As we, in later years, for my parents and for the Bylers, they would stay longer, and that was really neat. After Mom and Pop Byler passed away, their daughter Katie and Menno, they would come and stay at my mom and dad's for a week or so, and my mom and dad would pay them to do all kinds of, repairs on the house or things my dad wasn't able to do anymore. And that was always like, it was a work week for them, but it was like a treat for them, and we'd have all kinds of get-togethers, and so fond memories with that. And of course, just so many visits, so many memories we've shared and laughed about, and we still get together with those that are still living. All of the children are not still living. As I mentioned, my dear friend Leah passed away this last year. But we look forward in a couple months to seeing Joe and Betsy and Franny and gosh, I'm getting the names mixed up. Katie. And so anyway, not Katie, Sarah, it is Sarah. Anyway, we look forward to that. And so another time I will tell you the story of an Amish family that we have befriended more recently that have become like adopted children and grandchildren to us. But I hope you've enjoyed some of the memories. I'm going to show you some things now that they have made for us. Before I close this segment, I just wanted to show you some of the things that I enjoy here in my home that my Byler friends have made. One is the quilt, and I believe this was made by Leah, and Mom Byler might have done some work on this as well in her later years. But this is for a queen size. I wanted something blue and white with a few little touches of light yellow, and so you'll see this pattern here, 2 stars on each of the pillows, and so I have that in my guest room. Another fun thing that I have and that my grandkids enjoy is a set of Amish dolls, and I think Leah might have made these for me as well. And they're dressed just like my Byler friends, and there's a hat. But that's something that I have that they've made that I really enjoy, and Leah just passed away this year. But 2 years ago, I had a great time seeing she and Mary. They had married and moved to Ohio, and I hadn't seen them in years, and so those 2 girls came in for a first ever family reunion, and they invited us, my husband and I, and it was so much fun. I don't know, probably 200 people there, 150 people, I don't know, but it was packed, and it was so good to catch up with them. And anyway, I know that Leah made these. Mary might have helped with those, I'm not sure, but these are some things that I've enjoyed and have here in my guest room. I have my special Amish quilt here in our guest room downstairs, but I also really enjoy this picture of a well-known artist of Amish paintings, and so I have that over my bed, and when I look at that picture, it brings back lots of very special memories of my childhood Amish friends, and the things, relationships, the fun things we've done, the things they've made, the food we've enjoyed, and I hope you've enjoyed hearing about my relationship with these Amish friends since childhood. I want to thank you again for joining Marlene at Home, and I look forward to having you back another day.